Hello Internet, welcome to Brief Histories. Today we will talk about playing cards. Playing cards are everywhere, and I'm not just talking about Magic or Pokemon cards. We will probably need another episode to cover all of that. So today we will just cover the traditional set which we see in casinos and convenience stores all over the world. All 4 suits and 52 cards, as well as the Joker card too. The playing card is, like many other things, made in China, where the first pack of cards ever printed was a 32 Chinese domino pack in the 11th century, as well as creating the first known deck of 4 suits. Now it's important to note that this is 11th century China, and they didn't really make clear distinctions whether the card was a paper playing card or a bone tile, but the functions are the same. They have a front which tells them what the card is supposed to mean, and a back that disguises the card with a uniform pictogram. Side note here, the cards you see today weren't always made of paper. Most quality ones use thicker laminated cardstock or even PVC and side note. Thanks to the ever-thriving Silk Road, playing cards eventually reached Egypt, who took them and promptly made their own versions. In the 15th century, they added in the king, queen and jack that we know and love today. Except that the jack was the under-deputy and the queen was the viceroy. They weren't big on gender equality then. Moving on from Egypt to Europe, where the Italians got a hold of playing cards too, and created various trump cards or trionfi, which would serve different roles depending on the game you were playing. These cards would become the base for tarot cards, and although you may think that tarot cards were made for mystics and psychics to predict your future at ridiculous prices, that wasn't the original intention. Trump cards were meant to add an extra level of depth to the games, but when the individual cards started to take on social and philosophical meanings, you can't really blame those guys for picking up on that. Fast forward to the 17th century, and we finally begin to see the corner indices which allow you to know what card you're looking just from looking at the corner. Finally, you can fan out your cards and still know what you're holding thanks to a company called Inferrera, which created them in 1693. Of course, it wasn't just as easy as slapping a number and a suit on the corner. In that time, the jack wasn't the jack, it was the knave, and the king shares the same first letter as the knave. The alternative was to use KN for knave, but that didn't sit well with them either. Fortunately, the common folk played this game called All Fours, where the knave was called the jack. Although the nobility didn't like the term since they considered all fours to be a low-class game, adding card indices helped in making the switch from the knave to jack. There were also other issues with using indices, but they were generally about language conversion. The number of variants that were created throughout history were too many to make a brief history of, but today the most popular deck, i.e. the one you see dealt out in casinos all over the world, is the French variant. You just watched a brief history of playing cards. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you'd like to hear more brief histories, let us know by leaving a comment in the comment box. Did you know that if you shuffle your deck properly, the order of cards in the deck is likely the first that anyone in the world has seen? The number of ways to arrange a deck is 52 factorial, which is a really massive number. 8 with 67 zeros in front of it. Even if you got a billion shuffling machines to shuffle 1,000 decks an hour since the beginning of time, you would have found only one shuffle of about 6 with 48 zeros in front of it. So shuffle away and know that that card of order is in all likelihood unique. It is yours.